Investment in our children's future is probably the most important investment that we make. Schools are facing the same cash flow crisis that many of you have heard about, that we'll continue to hear about this afternoon. But it's not quite as bad for schools, because schools have access to local revenue, and they've been living on that local revenue up until now. Their cash flow problem will become a major problem in the months ahead. The problem they face is that state support for public education in this Commonwealth has for the last 30 years been declining. And so a greater and greater burden has been placed on local taxpayers, in most districts property taxpayers, in order to support the investment in public education that we all desire and that we all need and that we all benefit from. 3 years ago, the legislature commissioned a study to look at what it would cost to provide an adequate and equitable funding for education across the Commonwealth. 2 years ago, that study was reported, and last year, the Commonwealth, the governor, and the legislature together made a commitment to fund that adequacy study and to make a down payment on the funding of it over time. This year, we run the risk of not continuing the funding of that down payment, and of losing the momentum for the first time in 30 years, of reversing a trend of placing a greater and greater burden on local taxpayers. Again, I think schools can survive in the short run, but in the long run, if we don't have the right state budget, we will not fund a state formula that fairly distributes money for our future. And we will again be placing a greater and greater burden, not on Commonwealth taxpayers, but on local taxpayers. So we're here to seek the right budget and to support the revenue necessary at the state level to support that right budget.